Okay, so we are live, and today I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 9. And so this is going to be a theory video, and we're going to be drawing upon some questions that have to do with Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and some of the things that people have been saying out there, some of the things, the speculations that are out there. And I'm going to tie in what I'm saying into the movie Kung Fu Panda 3. This is going to be the first of a three-part series that I plan to do that's diving into the question, will we see the spirit realm in Star Wars Episode 9? That is something we have not seen up until this point. The only hint that we have of it is the idea that somebody's becoming one with the Force and they become a Force ghost. And so I wanted to also just kind of dive into that question. So I wanted to, so if you're here on the live stream and you're joining us, we're glad to have you. As you see in the description, in the chat that I started, go ahead and post your comments, your questions, your discussion. And after I finish talking and go through the movie clip with you, then we're going to go ahead and dive back in. I'm going to go back into that discussion, and I will make sure that I address any kind of concerns, any kind of questions, until that's basically all resolved, or until we hit 3 o'clock my time, in which I have to go. And I plan to do these live streams basically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 2 o'clock Montana time. So make the adjustment as far as your time. And YouTube is kind of confusing me because when I originally scheduled this for 2 o'clock Montana time, Mountain time, then it's kept on saying that it was like 1 hour, going to start 1 hour earlier than I thought it was going to. And so that was kind of a confusing thing. But I think I got to figure it out, because I think after a while, then suddenly it changed, because I come back and it's like, oh, well, it's going to start like an hour from now after I had changed it. So anyway, I think I got that figured out. We go ahead and post those comments and those questions, and I will get to that after this. And I shouldn't be talking for more than like 12 minutes. And so if you want to come back, or if you're watching the replay of this, then you might want to just, go ahead and watch my instruction, and you may not even want to bother with the Q&A afterwards. But if you're interested in what other people have to say, what questions they have, then feel free to stick around as well. And if you have a question, go ahead and post it. I'll address it. You can come back and watch the replay. And while you're here, why don't you go ahead and help me reach my goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but YouTube changed their monetization policy, and now it's required that you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time over the last 12 months. And so I'm reaching for both of those goals right now. The subscriber could really help me out. So click that subscribe button and share this with your fellow Star Wars lover. And let's go ahead and jump right in. I think now there's been given enough time for the lag to, catch up and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and jump in. What happened in Episode 8? Well, let's just break this down and where we were left. Luke became one with the Force, and Snoke died by all intensive appearances. Now, I'm going to do some other videos on some other possibilities, and I've already done one. You might want to check it out. I believe it's in the cards for this video. Will we see Snoke return in Episode 9? And so you might want to check that out, and also my video on Luke as well. But as far as we saw, Snoke is dead, Luke is dead, and they both had passed on. Kylo Ren is now the new Supreme Leader, fully given over to the dark side, and Rey, it appears, is going to take those Jedi texts and finish her journey toward becoming a Jedi. And we got the hint that there's other Force sensitives out in the universe. Some have called him Broom Boy, right, at the end. And I think that they're going to play very big in episode 9 as well. So that's what happened in the movie. From all intents and purposes, if we're to believe that everything happened the way that we saw it, and that's all there is to it, then that's what happened. So what other clues have we been given? And I would say one was Yoda's Force Ghost. And some have already pointed this out, that he was able to hit Luke over the head with his cane. He was able to, call down lightning and burn up the Force tree. And that's something we've never seen Force Ghosts do. Some have commented that Yoda's Force Ghost didn't really look like a ghost and almost looked like he was really there. And I'm going to get to that in the second part of this series. But the question on the table for this one is are we going to see the spirit realm in Star Wars Episode 9? So Yoda's Force Ghosts are said to be more powerful. And this kind of goes back to this. I kind of contemplated doing another video on this. And the first one, Episode 4, A New Hope, Obi-Wan, he says to Darth Vader before he sacrifices himself, he says, "Strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." Now, think about this. In all of the Star Wars movies, has that really happened yet? Have we seen Obi-Wan become more powerful as a Force Ghost than he was as a Jedi, living in this existence, in this realm? I don't think we have. And I think that's really what they're starting to bring out. They're starting to do something different with the Force Ghost. And the Force Ghosts are progressing themselves. And so I think they're going to play a more prominent role in the closing of this trilogy. And so then the second clue we have is that Luke was said by Rian Johnson, he made the decision to have Luke become one with the Force in the second part of this trilogy because he is now stronger, and now it is possible for him to do some of the things that everybody was expecting him to do in The Last Jedi, and it would be more believable because he is now a Force Ghost. He's progressed past this, earthly life, so to speak, okay? So the third clue, it came in The Art of the Last Jedi. And in that book, you have a scene that almost made it in. They chose to leave it out. But Luke was going to be visited by a Sith ghost. Now, that may sound weird to you because I thought that Sith didn't become ghosts. I thought that was only a Jedi thing. And that's why the Sith wanted to live as long as they possibly could, because this life is really all that they have. Well, that's the way it's always been, but are they going to go in a different direction? One thing that I've learned is that a lot of stuff that was cut from The Force Awakens showed up in The Last Jedi. A lot of the stuff that was cut in The Last Jedi might show up in Episode 9. So what in the caption next to that, in The Art of the Last Jedi, it says that we know that it would seem plausible that the final battle needs to be fought in the spirit realm. And so in order for there to be a final battle in the spirit realm, then you have to have Sith or dark side users who are able to get there. And so they were going to have one appear in The Last Jedi to introduce that idea. They didn't do that. So the question is, and I want to see this in the comments down below, do you think that they're just going to all of a sudden, without having priorly introduced them, just have it show up that they're in the spirit realm and surprise, surprise, Sith have been able to get here, and who knows how long they've been able to get here, okay? Or do you think that they're going to introduce it in comics or in books or things of that nature? Maybe if they come out with the Snoke novel, which it seems likely that they are, maybe they're going to talk about that and actually describe how Snoke actually made that journey. And he's supposed to be like the most powerful dark side user, more powerful than Vader, more powerful than Palpatine, according to the actor Andy Serkis that played him. Well, have we seen that happen? I mean, yeah, Snoke did some cool stuff, but have we really seen him, or has he really earned a reputation as being more powerful than Palpatine? How is he more powerful than Palpatine? How is he more powerful than all the other predecessors that maybe, that's another thing in the comments. You can put, who is your favorite Dark Lord of the Sith? And so that was another thing. So when I mentioned the art of the Last Jedi, I just want to throw down in the description down below, there are a number of links that are to Amazon. And so I have Art of the Last Jedi, the visual dictionary that I've been drawing a lot upon. Those are two very key things. And the Blu-rays, DVDs for all of the Star Wars movies and some other stuff. Go ahead and check that out. If you're looking to buy that stuff, go ahead and click on my links, because if you do, then anything you buy during that shopping trip or over the next 24 hours gets tracked, and I get a percentage of that. And so that would really help out my channel, especially since YouTube is taking away the monetization over there. So I said it, I mentioned it only because it came up, and so that would help me out a ton. Thank you very much. And so what do we know about episode 9? Okay, that's the third question I want to tackle here, introducing this. And we have been told that it's supposed to tie together all 3 trilogies. So that means prequels, original trilogy, sequel trilogy. All 3 of them are supposed to tie together. And that's raised the question by a lot of people, what is it that they could do that would tie together all 3 trilogies? And I also want to throw out there in the introduction to the Force Awakens novelization, they had a clipping, and some of my other videos have mentioned this, like the move toward the gray, I know is one that you want to go check out. And that is the Journal of the Wills, 7477, and it talks about the resolving of the gray through refined Jedi sight. And this whole move, as you see on the screen, the yin, yang, okay, the balance. And that's something that I think they were trying to put out there, that the Jedi misunderstood what it meant to be balanced. But I think what they're trying to bring out is the original Jedi, the Prime Jedi and all that stuff, they didn't miss it, okay? So you have that, and I think that we're all going to be surprised. Everybody's thinking episode 9 needs to have Rey defeating Kylo, or Rey redeeming Kylo, that good defeats evil. And this is going to sound really weird, but I think that, and I don't even know how you would go about doing this, but that episode 9 is going to end in perfect balance between light and dark. And I don't know how you end up with both of them winning or both of them still standing and have any kind of closure, but I'm going to leave that to J.J. Abrams to figure out, because I think that's what the goal is. I think that's what they're going to try and do. And that would perfectly represent the Taoist worldview that Star Wars represents. Now, I mentioned this question, what can tie together all 3 trilogies? And people have been making their guesses, and I don't think they're thinking big enough. I think they're thinking inside the box. And second question, what will bring closure to all 3 trilogies? And where can they go with where they left episode 8 off? A lot of people have been complaining, thinking that there's nowhere for them to go. At least nowhere for them to go that has enough time, with only one movie left, that's going to close off the entire saga, the entire Skywalker story. And so where can they go that they haven't gone before? And I'm going to, please post your ideas, your comments in the comments down below. What do you think is the answer to all 3 of those questions? So I'm going to go ahead and show you a clip. Now, before I get into this and show it, I was watching on New Year's Eve. We were watching a bunch of movies as a family, and each of us got to pick. And my son Noah, he picked Kung Fu Panda 3. And at first I was thinking, okay, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this. But then very quickly as the movie started, I realized I am in the mood for this, because I was getting all sorts of glimpses of what could possibly be, where they could possibly be going in Star Wars Episode 9. And so I'm going to go ahead and show this clip. This is Kai, who is a former, warrior alongside of Oogway, who is the, the turtle. Kai is like the battle ox guy. And Oogway is the turtle, the wise master that's passed on. They're both in the spirit realm. And you're going to see Kai taking on Oogway in the spirit realm. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that clip up. And
inner peace, inner peace. Itchy nose. You've grown stronger.
500 years in the spirit realm. You pick up a thing or two. I have taken the chi of every master here.
No.
Yes. And soon I will have your power too.
Finally, inner peace. Now what? Kai, old friend.
Master Oogway. With your chi, I will finally be able to return to the mortal world. And this time, you won't be there to stop me.
When will you realize the more you take, the less you have? Battle ended 500 years ago.
Well, now I'm ready for a rematch.
Took you long enough. It was never my destiny to stop you. I have set another on that path.
Then I will find him and take his chi too.
all right, so now I'm back, and that was an interesting clip, I think you could say. That was the spirit realm in Kung Fu Panda 3, and you have Kai, who is a representative of the dark side, you could say. Notice the dark side and the light side, they go to the same place. It's just the spirit realm, okay? Welcome to Taoism, okay? And then the other thing I just want to point out is that Kai still poses a threat. There is still the threat of those who have ill intentions causing havoc in the spirit realm. Okay, so it's not this like peaceful heaven is afterlife in Taoism, okay? And believe it or not, or accept it or not, this is the worldview that is represented by Star Wars, okay? And it's kind of confusing because in the original trilogy, George Lucas talked about like good needing to defeat evil. You know, the Jedi are those who are selfless, and the Sith are those who are selfish, and you know they eventually get what they deserve, kind of thing. But whether they've just moved on and they kind of retroactively placed on the original Star Wars, but even in the prequels, it started to move away from. But I think the way that they're moving away from it is the idea that the Jedi mistakenly thought that balance meant that they were the only ones in the universe, that the Sith would be completely annihilated, and that's why they misunderstood the Chosen One. They thought that Anakin, by bringing balance to the Force, would get rid of the Sith entirely. And that's not what balance ever meant, really. And so you have light and dark, and even in the spirit realm, now Kai is causing problems, and he is stealing the chi from the other light side people in the spirit realm, okay? Now, chi, you can almost say, equals the Force, okay? Chi is really like the life essence. And they believe even like this, like it's the life essence within you, within your cells, within, and you know, some people might even have more chi than others, and you know, you tap into the chi and you control. You basically everything that you've ever heard about the Force is kind of similar to what the idea and concept of chi is. Now, this is interesting because some have said that they have even gotten inside information, right? That Snoke was supposed to be some kind of like Force vampire. That the reason why he's been able to preserve himself for so long is that he's been actually sucking the Force out of other vessels. And that's been giving him life, prolonging his life, giving him more power, all that kind of stuff. And you know, you had the whole thing with Plagueis and Palpatine, and they were trying to manipulate the midichlorians to create life and all of that kind of stuff. And so it kind of seems like Snoke may be, and we didn't see any of that in the movie, and I think that disappointed some people who really thought that was what was going to happen. But my question to you is, what do you think a battle in the spirit realm would look like? What do you think that would look like? I want to know what your thoughts are. Let's dream together. Let's theorize together. And it may give me fuel for some other videos and live streams and all that kind of stuff in the future. But I want to know your thoughts. And so another question, who do you think would fight in the spirit realm? If they had this battle and they brought it into Star Wars, now the spirit realm might look different, but I think it would have the same kind of basic idea, kind of this ethereal, everybody's kind of floating and there's some matter, but it's mostly just kind of like this mysterious thing. But who do you think would fight there? Who would you want to see come back? Or what kind of Force ghost, Sith ghost, any kind of ghost would you want to see fighting in the spirit realm? Would it be Snoke, or would it be Palpatine? Would it be Bane, Revan? Who would you want to see represented by the dark side? Who would you want to see represented by the light side? And so who do you think we're going to see in episode 9? If we open up the spirit realm possibility, who do you think that we might see in episode 9? Especially saying that they're going to wrap together all of the prequels. And, you know, there's conversations with Ewan McGregor. There's conversations with Liam Neeson right now. There's, Samuel L. Jackson has been dying to get back into Star Wars. Okay, we saw Yoda in episode 8. There's conversations about Hayden Christensen coming back. Okay, who do you think that we're going to see in episode 9? And so I've said everything I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and go back. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go back into the live screen discussion, see if anybody's here. And Nobody is here. That is disappointing. But anyway, in any case, I said what I needed to say. I've made my point. And another thing, if you're watching the replay of this, please let me know. This is the time that seems to work best with my schedule, but maybe it doesn't with yours. Maybe you're dying to jump onto the live streams, but your work schedule won't allow it, or whatever won't allow it. So please let me know good days and times that might work for you. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. Help us out. Click on some of the affiliate links down below in the description. And tomorrow, I'm going to have another 2 o'clock live stream scheduled, and that's going to be the usual weekly sermon. We're going to be going back to basically Jesus' last night and that final discourse in John chapter 13, 14, 15, and 16 before he goes to the cross. And so if you're one of my subscribers that likes my Bible content, come back for that. I would love to hear your questions and what's on your mind. I have a real live discussion there with you about that. And if you're just like the Star Wars stuff, then come back next Wednesday. I'm going to do part 2 of this series, in which I'm going to be looking at the scenes in Kung Fu Panda when Kai, then after his battle with Oogway, he actually comes into the physical world, okay, and tries to wreak havoc there. So join me for that, and share this with others, your other Star Wars lovers, other Bible lovers, and help us grow this channel. And I will talk to you all real soon.